Hey, what's up? This is Not Ashamed Gaming coming to you with my top 5 tracks. And we're going to start off with 5A because I have a tie for 5th place. As you can see, the Death Loop is comes in at number 5 on my list. One of various reasons why. It's got the jumps right here leading into the first turn right there. But one of my biggest things that I love about tracks is the intersections. And at the Death Loop, this intersection right here can get very hectic. Lots of crashes. You got a lot of speed coming off that first jump and out of those corners. So any type of crossing area like this is always going to be crazy. And I've always enjoyed flying through this intersection to see what type of crashes that I can generate. And then also another part of tracks that I love are jumps. And those first ramps that go on that first home stretch is they're really good. You got those humps and you got the big jumps, and sometimes that intersection right there can be crazy depending on what type of cars that you have involved. And then of course you got the Death Loop. It's iconic. It's amazing. I don't know why anybody would try to skip the Death Loop. But it's one of my favorite things. Well, it is my favorite thing about this track. Love going through the Death Loop because you have no idea coming out or going through the very bottom of it if you're going to get nailed. So it's always a lot of fun to be on this board. So the Death Loop comes in at 5A. So 5B would be Rockfield Rough Spot. Now I struggled with this one. I couldn't figure out if I wanted the Bone Breaker Valley as my other 5. Bone Breaker would probably rank at 6, but why do I like Rockfield Rough Spot? Well, once again, it's got the jumps on the back. It's got speed, and that's one thing that I like about tracks is that being able to get the speed up in whatever car that I'm using. But there's a lot of havoc on that back stretch right there, as you can see. Cars roll over, cars run into each other. It's a lot of fun because when you hit that jump, sometimes you have no idea if somebody's parked at the bottom of one of these jumps, and you're just going to run into them. But another great part that I love about this track is the wall. We're going to get to the wall here in a minute. Some more action right here on those ramps. But that wall right there, absolutely love that wall. It doesn't always happen, but there's some cars that have gone off the top of it. But that bank right there, you can't beat that bank on Rockfield Rough Spot. You don't even have to slow down like you do in the other turn. So turns 3 and 4 are a big part of why I love Rockfield Rough Spot. And probably one of my favorite things, and a lot of you guys have seen this, those ripples right through here, through the front stretch. Man, it doesn't take much to hit one of those wrong to send cars flying. Especially if you're in a pack of other cars. You start rolling, you're going to get nailed by other cars flying through there. As you can see right here, I mean, they're just going down the front stretch, and all of a sudden they hit those little ripples, and their car is flying. So Rockfield Rough Spot at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is the Hilltop Figure 8. There's lots of figure 8s. I think there's 4 figure 8s that are currently in the Wreckfest game. And I love all of them. I do. Why is this one my favorite? Well, just like on some of the other tracks that you're going to see, speed is one of my top things. I love being able to get up to speed. And this is the fastest figure 8 that they have, which causes the impacts in the intersection right here can be crazy. And that's, again, intersections where you're crossing over each other, coming at each other, are one of my number one things. And then you throw in speed, some real serious hits in the middle. And I just think it creates a survival type race instead of, just a race. So I love being able to compete, but adding this intersection in here, especially at the speeds that you get, is probably one of my favorite things to do. So I love this track. And also you got the corners. They're not really banked, but I'm telling you, you can get up some good speed heading into those corners. And a lot of people look at that intersection as one of the main things, but there are some serious wrecks in those corners too. Especially it can get really congested if you're doing a custom game where there's 24 cars in there. You got 24 cars running full speed on this track. Lots of fun, lots of carnage. So that's why this one comes in at number 4. All right, number 3 is the Big Valley Outer Oval Loop. I think this is probably one of the first races that I ever did in Wreckfest, and I fell in love with it immediately. I wasn't even paying attention to the map, so I went full speed into this first corner and hit that concrete wall full speed. Didn't realize the loop was there, but that loop and having to go back through the track with cars coming at you, and again, speed, cars coming at you. I mean, the wrecks right there that happen when you're going full speed at other cars are just crazy. The impacts are just awesome. That is one reason why I love this track. And again, a lot of the tracks that I picked have a survival element to it. Not necessarily always a race, which I love racing and I love competing, but being able to survive some of these races and the impacts that your car go through, I think it adds another challenge, and that's why this Big Valley Outer Oval Loop comes in 3rd place, because it doesn't get any better, especially those blind curves right there. You're going full speed sometimes through those curves, you can't see what's coming, and sometimes you hit those things head on. And of course you got this front stretch where people just meet head on, get crushed. It's a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Another thing that I love about this Wreckfest game are the different camera angles that you can watch the replay on. Like these in-car cameras right here, these in-car views, you can't beat that. It puts you in that driver's seat, and the sound, if you got your surround sound turned up, or you got your headphones on, the sound of some of these crashes when you're in the in-car is just, you can't beat it. All right, so coming in at number 2 is Grash Banyon. Grash Banyon it's exactly what it's called. It's a canyon, and there are some serious crashes going on. And it doesn't matter if you're doing online games, if you're doing multiplayer, it gets so congested going through there, and it just creates havoc. And again, you've got one of my favorite things. You got cars coming right at each other, and you got jumps, and you got speed. I think the banks really help out being able to come through those turns. But I love this dirt track, and I love the element of having those little jumps through there, cars coming in the opposite direction. It's another survival type track, and it's so much fun to play. It doesn't get old. It doesn't matter, again, if you're doing the online or if you're doing a custom race. And when you can have 24 cars on here in some of these custom races, there's a lot of times that I don't finish because I get wrecked out, and that's just part of the reason that this game is so popular, part of the reason why I love it so much. You can see this car right here. I think he's been rolling about 20 times, but this game is great. But Grash Banyon definitely comes in at number 2 for me. This is definitely a must and should be in everybody's top 5. And coming in at the number 1 spot is Hellride. It's a newer track. It's only been out for maybe a little over a month, but I would say that this track is definitely one of the best tracks. It's another survival type race, which is what I enjoy. It does have a racing factor on it, but it's got that jump in the middle, and you can't beat that jump. A lot of online guys, they go underneath and they miss that jump the entire race, and I don't understand if you've got something that big and you can jump, why you wouldn't do it. Another thing I love is all the action that happens at the bottom of the ramp right there too. Like sometimes you're just trying to get up that ramp or come down the ramp and you get landed on like this, and it's just crazy. But another part that I love are, as you can see right here, the banks. You don't have to lift on this track at all. Like you can hold the gas down the entire way, and these banks really make it a lot of fun. It really generates a lot of speed and can cause you to go out of control like that right there, which is just another part of this map or this track. But going through the ring of fire right there is my favorite part, and I'm sure it's everybody else's favorite part. As you can see right there, crazy things happen when you meet another car going through the loop. There's not a better feeling and more excitement. So whether it's racing, surviving, crashing, this Hell Ride track has it all. Most of the time I put it on 4 or 5 laps because I think if you try to do any more than that, you're just not going to last. There's been a few times where I didn't last 1 lap. But it's fun to put big rigs in here. It's fun to put motorhomes in here, buses. It just adds so much more to the game. So there you go, my top 5 tracks. Hope you enjoyed the video. I would love to know what your top 5 tracks are, whether you agree with mine or whether you don't agree with my tracks. That's cool, but I still would love to hear what your top 5 tracks are and why you like those. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. Would love it if you guys liked or subscribed this video, or like this video or subscribe to my channel. But you guys have an amazing day. Appreciate you watching. God bless.